Hi, family. How are you? I've been doing a lot of work in my sacral chakra, okay? And it's time to move on. It is definitely time to move on. And, you know, our solar plexus is definitely connected to our sacral chakra in that the things that we uncover and the emotions and the fears and the reality of the relationships that we are dissecting and, going back to even from childhood or in, past relationships, whatever it is, we're the work that's being done in your sacral chakra has to do with the deep, deep emotions that you may not have seen the first time around. You may not have understood the first time around. Okay? Maybe you were a child, maybe you were just bogged down with so much that, you weren't able to see things right in front of your face. So, I'm here right now to tell you a little journey of mine because part of solar plexus is trusting the universe. It's letting go and trusting that all the relationships and all the things that happened in your root chakra and your sacral chakra, trusting that you did the work and that you can let it go and that the universe is going to take care of you at this point. I mean, that's all you can do. You obsessing over it and living in fear is how you keep your solar plexus closed or unbalanced. Okay, so I am about to conquer a fear right in front of you. Okay, as we speak, right now, right here. It's even in my birth chart. It's crazy. Speaking my truth, whoever it is, that is part of my healing that I have to do in this world and in this lifetime. And recently I've talked about repressed memories. I've talked about my sexual trauma. So, I mean, we apparently, being a victim of molestation was seeping from my pores because ever since I started teaching, I had kids flocking to me and I would, I've said this before, like so many people telling me about them being in a similar situation or maybe even older, 14, 15, and having an adult or a predator type, pedophile, molestation, rape, whatever you want to call it. I feel like it's been saturated around me, okay? And I keep saying to everyone, like, would you remember? Wouldn't you remember? Wouldn't you remember? Well, let me tell you, if you tell yourself you don't remember, then you're not going to remember. So it took a lot of self-reflection. It took a lot of admitting the images that I was seeing in my mind were actual memories, unfortunately. So in order for me to have a well-vibrating solar plexus, I have to come on here today and tell you that the repressed memories that I had did have to do with being molested as a child. Now, not every single memory has come back, but enough to write a couple chapters in a book. And they're not pleasant memories. And it's altering my reality, and I'll tell you why. So the person who molested me from 3, 4 years old, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere all in there, was my father. And he was a person that everyone adored. I cannot remember him ever getting angry. I can't remember that though. I don't know if that was the reality of it, but I can't ever remember it. And a majority of the occurrences, actually every single occurrence that I can remember, had to do with the fact that I would wake up in the middle of the night, in the middle of this going on. It would be dark. I was a kid. You don't understand what's going on, really. You're asleep. Sometimes even as an adult, I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't remember how many times I've ran across the house because somebody woke up, or if it was that night or if the night before or whatever it was. So, these memories, I had to eventually realize that the things that I was seeing in my head were not just random thoughts. They were memories. Crazy interruptions by my children. But, honestly, my children are the ones who their ages started to trigger memories for me. And, you know, before this though, like, I mean, by the way, my father he passed away, a long time ago. He, passed away of multiple types of cancer when I was in college. So, there is one other adult though. My grandmother had married a gentleman, so he was my grandfather. His name was Tom. He was my grandfather, kind of. He was not a nice person. I distinctly have memories of doing sexual acts to him in different places, in my grandmother's basement, and you know, in the shed. And honestly, I thought about apologizing for being graphic at all, but you know, this shit was placed on me. I didn't ask for this. So to a degree, for me to have to go through so much to overcome it, I mean, it's unbelievable. The amount of manipulation that was done to me for me to be quiet, the amount of, I had so much weight on my shoulders as a child, being threatened to not speak out. Okay? I was threatened to keep my mouth shut, or my father would go to jail and my mom couldn't support us and DCF would take us away and the police would come, blah, 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 blah. So it all was on my shoulders as a child to keep my mouth shut and realize that I was always put on the back burner. That is the crux of my fear of speaking out. I trembled in school getting on stage. I trembled at any thought of speaking in public. Okay? I had no idea why. Like, trembled like I'm trembling now. Okay? There was always something inside me that wanted to speak out, but there was also something that made me feel like I was responsible for everyone and everything. And I took that with me into adulthood. Fortunately, the awareness that I was able to bring to myself after admitting all of these things, yes, this happened to me. Okay? This happened to me. I can't even say this is my life, because really, what is your life? Your life is a repetitive series of thoughts. That's it. Your life is something that you play over in your head, a repetitive series of thoughts from the past. Like, that is your life. Okay? You can't dwell on your life. That's like dwelling on thoughts of the past. Think about how crazy that sounds. You know, I mean, in doing this work in my solar plexus, I have been able to realize that this doesn't make me, because it never did make me, even without my consciousness of it. Okay? It didn't make me who I was. But fortunately, now that I'm able to see that my behavior came from a place that was manipulated, that was conditioned, okay? Conditioned around fear, based around fear, okay? Where does your fear come from? Where does your conditioning come from? Okay? Mine came from my parents. But a majority of how I acted around people, I was really quiet and really shy. You know, I never got in trouble. Never got in trouble, ever. I mean, I was threatened apparently a lot to keep my mouth shut. So it makes a lot of sense to why I was quiet, and I tried to make sure that my sisters had food on the table, and I made sure that whatever it was, okay? I accepted the role of an adult, of someone. I took on so much burden at a young age. It is time to flip the script, okay? I am done with this shit. I am speaking my truth. And for all of you who are victims of molestation and rape, you should not be ashamed, because you didn't do it, okay? Someone did it to you. You didn't ask for it. It's like getting in a car accident, someone hits you. You didn't ask for it. You're still dealing with all that shit, but it doesn't make you who you are. Okay? Speak out about it. Tell people. Okay? Who cares? This person, I'm telling you, my father was someone that everybody loved. Loved. Okay? There was a point in my mind where I had to get rid of the thought of changing other people's views on him. Who gives a shit? This is my life. This is my life. It's my perspective. Okay? This happened to me. It didn't happen to anybody else. They can think whatever they want to. Okay? This is my truth. I'm conquering my fear right now, and it feels so fucking good. I have cried a lot over this. And I'm done. Okay? I deserve so much more. I mean, I'm human, so I'm still working through finding a place of compassion for my father, Charles, for my grandfather, Tom, for me just going to assume that they had some type of sexual trauma in their past that they weren't able to overcome, or they weren't able to have awareness about, or that overcame them, emotions that overcame them. Because remember, we have like muscle memory, okay? So, I mean, when you have trauma that's associated with orgasm, you know, then that's where people can develop, we call fetishes, or something outside of the norm, or maybe they feel it's something outside of the norm, okay? So, I mean, I'm still working on this, but ultimately, my goal as a healer is to find a place of compassion within everyone and understand where they're coming from, and that they were once a pure, simple, pure soul. They were. Somewhere along the line, they were tainted with this world that they weren't able to overcome in this lifetime. I mean, my father had bone cancer, liver cancer, colon cancer. So just knowing what I know about energy and how it can be stored in the body, I mean, his was stored in his sacral chakra, in that same area. Sacral in his, sacral root chakra. So it makes so much sense that he had trauma, and that trauma wasn't aware. It wasn't an awareness. Okay. There wasn't an awareness of it. And because of that, it was internalized. And most possibly developed into the cancer that eventually killed him before he turned 45 years old. So, they say the heavens, the universal gods, they say that we can escape death by ascension, by awakening a little bit more and a little bit more. Okay. I think this is true. I believe this is true. Okay. This is my belief. This is my road to having infinity, to, having an eternal life. All right. I mean, what else do I have to work towards besides helping others live a life of pure joy and happiness where fear doesn't exist? Okay. I mean, I've been through this process a couple times, and each time I think I rid fear, and I'll tell you that this emotional hurdle of the uncovering of repressed memories of sexual trauma have been the biggest hurdle of my life. But I am very grateful for it. I am so grateful for it because it's allowing me to be, it's giving me purpose. It's giving me more of a reason to change, to be better, to be whoever the heck I want to be. I have a reason. It's almost like it gave me an excuse and said, that's not who you really were supposed to be. You were conditioned into being that person. So what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Let's go be the person you always wanted to be. Let's do it. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. And you're going to watch me do it because I'm going to do it. You can believe that I'm going to do it. I want to be here for you too. Okay. I want to be here as a role model to show you the possibilities that you can have in life. This happy life. Okay? We are going to keep working on our solar plexus. Okay? Have a wonderful day, guys.